Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here from Pickdawgz.com, bringing y'all my NBA Jam session on February 23rd, 2023, man. It feels good to say those words, man. It's been too long, it feels like, man, but we're back in action. NBA season, back in flow, man. We got a nice size card. Y'all know we're going to try to smash it per usual, man. Early drop for y'all, man. I'm coming early today. Lines dropped crazy early, man. So I said, let's come early today, man. So, without further ado, man, we're going to try to smash this NBA like we always do, man. We got a 9-game card. My best bets, can be found at Pick Dawgz Premium. Just click that link in the description. That's where you can find my best bets and best bets from the top handicappers on the planet, man. My $15 NBA Jam session can be found there as well, man. We hit the last two rolling into the All-Star break. We're going to try to keep that rolling forward after it. I got a live show coming for y'all, man, later this afternoon as well. Something new I'm going to be doing moving forward. 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Check me out there as well, man. Kind of the same thing as a jam session, but it'll be live, man. So if y'all got any questions and stuff y'all want me to answer right then and there, tune into that live video, man. We should have guests and stuff moving forward. We're going to do that for the majority of the rest of the season. So tune in there, man. Tune in here. Let's continue making money, man. And follow me on Twitter, Parlay Guy J. And without further ado, let's hop right into tonight's NBA action. We're back at it, baby. And we got a great game, man, to start off our second half push of the NBA, man. We got the best team in the Western Conference, the Denver Chicken Nuggets. They're out on the road facing a really, really, really good home team in the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. Cleveland's laying 2.5, totals 223.5. Me personally, I gotta roll Cleveland here, man. We've been all over Cleveland at home all season. And quite frankly, I'm not even going to hop off of them even in this spot with the best team in the Western Conference coming into the building. Cleveland, 25-6 straight up on their home floor, man. They just get it done at home. We're only laying 2.5, which is less than 3, which is just a bucket. I'll lay that, man. I think Cleveland does get the win on their home floor. And I think they just continue rolling there. I know we did see them drop a clunker in their last one as Philadelphia did beat them wire to wire right before the All-Star break. They were running red hot right before then, man. They were due for a little regression. I do think they respond, though, on their home floor. I'm somebody that's high on this Cleveland team, especially on their home floor. Y'all know we love betting the Nuggets, though. We love betting the Nuggets mostly at home, as they are another really good home cover team. Both of these teams are tied in a three-way tie for the best home cover team in all of the NBA. With the Philadelphia 76ers, they're all three 20-10-1 against the spread out on their home floor. So, those are teams we love to bet on their home floor. Denver, out on the road, though, they're not that same juggernaut, man. They're actually 14-14 straight up out on the road, man. They're just 50-50 out there. That's straight up. So I don't really trust them going into Cleveland, beating, like I said, one of the best home teams in all of the NBA, a team that really likes to hoop, a team that I think actually matches up well with this Denver Nuggets team. They got the Twin Towers down there in Mobley, in Jared Allen. I'm taking Cleveland in this one in our first game of the night, man. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait to put my eyes on this one. The MVP favorite right now, Jokic, looks like he's going for 3 straight, but I don't like this matchup for him and the Nuggets. I think Cleveland on their home floor pulls it out, so I'll lay the 2.5 here with them in our first matchup of the night. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got arguably the best team in basketball right now, the Boston Celtics. They're out on the road facing a really good home cover team in the Indiana Pacers. Boston's laying 8.5, totals 234.5. I mean, me personally, the way I'm leaning right now, I think I want to grab the points with Indiana here in this one, man. Indiana 19-13 against the spread on their home floor. That's 7th best in the NBA, man. Even with that rough stretch they had limping their way into the All-Star break. I do think a team like Indiana, though their All-Star break was good for them, I do think they come out and start to look like that team that they were before the Halliburton injury. I think some more time for him to get rested, healed up was good for this team, and I think they start hooping again. I do think the Celtics win this game. I can see the Celtics winning this game by 5 to 6 points, but I think the back door might be open for the Pacers in this one, or I think they just keep it competitive the whole way through and just cover the line. I know I say arguably the best team in basketball in the Boston Celtics, but me personally, laying 10 points fresh out of the All-Star break is just not a place I want to be, especially not on the road against a good home cover team. I know the Celtics are a really, really good team, and there is a chance that they do blow out this Indiana Pacers team, but I think it's too many points here, me personally. So I do lean Pacers plus the 8.5. If my mind changes, I'll update y'all on Twitter later. And be sure to check out that live show, as I'll probably go live again with the guests, or maybe not. We'll see. First show, but I will be live at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. This will be a perfect game to update y'all on. But as of right now, leaning Pacers. I think they can keep this one competitive. I think it's slightly too many points. I think the Celtics mess around win this game by like 4, 5, 6 points. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got the Detroit Pistons out on the road facing the Orlando Magic. Orlando laying 6.5, total 227. I mean, it's a tough one for me. Orlando, in my mind, is the better team. That's no question. I think Orlando has been playing better basketball I think there's a small chance that they could fight for a playing spot. And I do think they're the better team, but that's not the question we're asking here. We're asking, do they win this game by margin? We're asking, do they win this one by 7? And I do lean that direction, but I promise y'all it's a small lean. I'm not totally in love with it. The Pistons have won the 2 previous matchups this season, 121-101 in blowout fashion on the 28th of December, and 113-109 on the 19th of October. Both games, though, were in Detroit. So that's a piece to look at. And Orlando plays its best basketball on its home floor, as Orlando is 17-12 against the spread on their home floor. And we've been making money betting Orlando. Orlando's one of the better home teams in the NBA. Orlando's also one of the better cover teams in all of the NBA. We can make money betting Orlando. I just laying 7 with them in this spot. It's a tough one. I do lean their direction, though. The Pistons are awful. They've only won one of their last 5 games. And they were hammered in a few of those. They got hammered by Boston, hammered by Cleveland, hammered by Boston again. They went to double overtime with the San Antonio Spurs. I'm not impressed with the Pistons either. But like I said, they have beat this Magic team twice this season. I know both of those were in Detroit. Right now it's a lean towards the Magic. It's a small lean, though. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got another really, really, really good game, man. I'm excited to watch this one, man. We got the Memphis Grizzlies out on the road facing the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly's laying 4, man, and totals 229.5. I mean, the Grizzlies are terrible on the road. Philly is one of the best home teams in all of the NBA, as they're tied for the best home cover team in the NBA. Went over that earlier. They're tied with Cleveland and Denver. By that alone, you want to take the Sixers. Like I said, if you go look at it, the Grizzlies have been terrible on the road, man. But in that same breath, I think it's a point of emphasis, man. It's the second half of the season. They got to kick it into gear somehow, sometime. And I think tonight might be a good night for them to do that, man. I'm going to grab the points with the Grizzlies here, and I'm going to sprinkle some on the money line, as I do think they win this game. The Grizzlies, they're a scrappy group, man, and these are the games that they show up. I do think we see them go into Philly and win this game. I know Philly was playing the better basketball heading into the break, as they had won 4 straight. Philly also has a revenge angle, as Memphis beat them earlier this season in Memphis, 117-109 on the 2nd of December. And Philly probably is the better team right now. I will say that as well, but I don't know, man. I just got this gut feeling to roll with the Grizzlies, man. It's the second half of the year. We're going to see some things we didn't see early in the season, man. Some trends are meant to be broken, and one of those, I do believe, are the Grizzlies being so terrible on the road. I do think they wake up eventually. I think tonight could be a good night for them to do so. I'm going to grab the 4 with the Grizzlies, man, and I'm probably going to sprinkle some on the money line as well. I'm going to fade Philadelphia in this spot. Philadelphia is going to be a great team moving forward. We're going to make money betting Philadelphia as well. But tonight in this spot, I don't really like it, man. I'm going to grab the points with Memphis here in this one. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got the New Orleans Pelicans. They're out on the road facing the Toronto Raptors. Raptors are laying 5.5 and totals 225.5. Me personally, man, y'all know what we doing. We're fading the Raptors. I'm going to take the Pelicans plus the 5.5. I'm probably going to sprinkle some on the money line as well, as I do think the Pelicans have a legitimate shot of winning this game outright. And I think the Toronto Raptors are not a good basketball team. They're 3 games below 500, which pretty much tells you they're a below average basketball team. And laying 5.5 with them in this spot is just not a place I want to be. I know heading into the break they did win 4 of their last 5. That's fool's gold though. They lost to the Utah Jazz on their home floor, and then 3 of their 4 wins are really suspect. The Detroit Pistons, a bottom feeder team. The San Antonio Spurs, a bottom feeder team. Orlando, they were playing better basketball, but Toronto should beat Orlando. The one good win in their last 5 games they did had was out on the road against Memphis. They won that one 106-103. So I will give them credit. They do have the revenge angle working in their favor as well, as the Pelicans hammered them earlier this season 126-108. But me personally, right now, if you're asking me who's the better team right now, I would probably still tell you the Pelicans. I know they're still without Zion, but I like what I've seen from them after that 10-game losing streak, man. They started to seem to start playing better basketball, start to play team basketball. I think the chemistry is at an all-time high. I like the way I've seen Alvarado and Brandon Ingram interacting over All-Star Weekend. I think the Pelicans have a real shot of winning this game outright, to be honest. The Raptors, I think, like I said, that little win streak was fool's gold. I think they're a below-average basketball team. I think the Pelicans are still the better basketball team in this matchup. And if they're going to give me points with them, I'll take it. And I'm probably going to sprinkle some on the money line as well here in this one. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got the San Antonio Spurs out on the road facing my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. Mavs laying 13.5, total 234.5. I mean, if we're calling a spade, bro, this is not a game any of us should be betting. I don't have a real solid lean anywhere. The Mavs laying 13.5 is crazy, as they're the worst cover team in all of the NBA. There's 30 teams in the NBA. The Mavs are in the 30th spot, meaning if you put your money on the Mavs, you've lost more money betting them than any other team in the NBA. Trust me, I know. I've bet the Mavs, as they are my favorite team. I really don't advise laying 13.5 with them, not even against the San Antonio Spurs. But grabbing the points with the Spurs doesn't seem like a great idea to me either, as they're only 2 spots better than this Mavs team. It goes Miami Heat right above the Mavs, and then San Antonio Spurs. Both teams are awful against the spread. It's really hard for me to pick a side. Yeah, it's a 50-50 coin flip type game. You might as well flip a coin and choose which side you want to be on in this game. The Mavs are clearly the better team. The Mavs' morale is clearly better. The Mavs have more to play for. All that. The Spurs are definitely in tank mode, but still, laying 13.5 with the worst cover team in the NBA just doesn't seem like a great place to be. Me personally, passing on the game. I'm not going to bet it. I know they're my favorite team, but laying 13.5, I can't do it. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got our favorite money-making team, man, the Thunder Buddies, the Cover Buddies, man, the best cover team in all of the NBA, man. They're on the road, man, facing a Utah Jazz team who's also a good cover team, man, and Utah's at home. Line's only 2, though, total 240. It's a 50-50 type game, man. I could see either team winning this game, man, but y'all know who I'm rolling with. I do lean the Oklahoma City Thunder Buddies, man, the Cover Buddies. Like I said, the best cover team in all of the NBA, man. They just always seem to find a way to get it done, and I think they just continue rolling. I do think this Jazz team is due for some regression in the second half of this season, man. They were playing above their means there for a while, mainly earlier in the season where they were going stupid dummy crazy at home. Here recently, man, they kind of just been okay. I think that's the best word to describe this Utah Jazz team. Okay. Like I said, I do think they probably slip out of even the play-in, probably. As there are some teams in there that are going to make some pushes. Okay, like this Thunder team. I think the Thunder are just straight up the better team. They have the better player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I think they can go in here and get themselves a road win. Again, this is a 50-50 type game. If I'm going to get plus 115 with the Thunder Buddies, man, I'm going to hop all over. We've been betting them all season. They've been cashing for us all season. Hard for me to get off of them now. Fading the Jazz. Like I said, I do think they're due for some regression in the second half of the season. I'm going to take the Thunder on the money line here in this one. In our next matchup of the night, man, we got the defending champions, man, the Golden State Warriors on the road, facing probably the most interesting team in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers, man. The Lakers are laying 5.5, total 238. Both of these teams are in similar situations. They find themselves at the bottom of the Western Conference with a lot of talent and should probably be shoe-in playoff teams, but they got some work to do to get there, man. So every game moving forward is a must-win for both of these two teams. So it's an interesting spot. The Warriors, we know they're still without their best player, the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my life, in Stephen Curry. And I think that kind of plays a huge role into this, man. I'm going to take the Lakers and lay the 5.5. Even with Stephen Curry, man, the Warriors have just been terrible on the road, man. And I mean garbage. I mean awful out on the road, man. 6-22 out there, man. They've played 28 games out on the road. They've only won 6. It's hard to look in their direction, man. It really is. The Lakers at home, I do think this should be a spot with LeBron playing where they do get themselves a win, and they should win it pretty comfortably. The Warriors have been awful on the road all season. They're still pretty banged up. I do think they sneak in the playoffs and go on a Warriors-type run as they always do. They're going to bounce back sometime in the second half of the season, but I just don't like the spot here in this particular game. I do think the Lakers need this game just a little more. I do think they win this game on their home floor, and I lean in their direction here in this one, man. It's mainly a fade of Golden State out on the road, though, as I just can't trust them. 6 wins for the defending champions on the road all season. It's crazy, in my opinion. It's really crazy. In our last and final matchup of the night, man, we ended with a really good game, man. I think 2 really even matched teams in the Portland Trail Blazers, man. They found themselves on the road facing the Sacramento Kings, Sac laying 5, total 239.5. I mean, I'm going to grab the points with Portland here in this one. I know we made a lot of money betting Sacramento early in the season. They were one of our favorite money-making teams, but kind of like I said about the Jazz, I think the Sacramento Kings are another team in the second half of the season, man, and I think are due for a little regression. I think right now, they're still, last time I checked, I think they were 3rd in the West. I don't think they in there come playoff time. I think they can slip all the way maybe to like 7th or 8th. I think the second half of the Western Conference is going to be a bloodbath, quite honestly. All the teams are quite jumbled up. The way the standings look now are not going to how they look come playoff time. Even Portland, 2 games under 500, could mess around and be a 4 or 5 seed when it's all said and done. I think Portland wins this game, possibly, quite honestly. I like what I've seen from Damian Lillard over All-Star break. It looks like he's back in that mode, and quite honestly, I think he is. And I think the Blazers mess around and win this game. I'm going to take the Blazers plus the 5 in our last and final matchup of the night. And not like I said a minute ago, I would not be surprised at all if they won this game outright. And that's going to conclude today's episode on the Jam Session on February 23rd, 2023, man. Thank y'all for watching. Smash that like button for your guy, man. Subscribe if you're new. Drop y'all like down in the comments. As you know, I love going through, seeing who y'all like, man. My best bets can be found at Pickdawgz Premium. Link in the description, man. Just click it. Takes you right to my Handicapper page. That's where you can find my long-term packages. That's where you can find all my bets for today's action in every sport that I'm active in today. And that's where you can find my $15 NBA Jam Session play, man. Like I said earlier, we hit both of those rolling into the break. We're going to try to come out of it and hit this one as well. Make that 3 in a row on our Jam Session play, man. So you can scoop that up. $15 over at Pick Dawgz. You can follow me on Twitter at ParlayGuyJays. That's where I typically update y'all on late injury news and update y'all on late information coming out of the association. But we also got the live show for that now, man. I got a live show every day for y'all moving forward. Probably Monday through Friday. We'll see how it shakes down. But for sure today, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. We're going to run it through one more time. Not sure if I'm having a guest my first day. Probably will. So, surprise guest. We'll see then. I'll see y'all later at that time, man. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs. Let's make some money tonight. See y'all later, and I'm out. Peace.